It's the second Tesla I've seen in the last week around here. Really expensive. Those are really expensive cars. Like, I'm surprised I'm seeing more of them out here, though. So I saw one last week at Best Buy. No lines yet, which is surprising. About 9:30 now. Movie doesn't start till 11, but here I am waiting. And now we play the waiting game. Alright, so it's about 9:45 now. The second of 3 screenings before the one I'm supposed to go to for Avengers Endgame just started, so there's one at 9, 9:45, and 10:30. There's not that big of a crowd here yet, but I know the one that I'm going to at 11 a.m., which is for the XD Theater, that's going to be a huge crowd. So I kind of figured out what my plan's going to be for this. It's probably around like about a half an hour, 10:15. I'll go and get my snacks, my food and all that, and then hopefully I'll be able to get inside the theater before then so I can get my seats. So wish me luck. Coming up on 10 a.m. right now. Figure I start making my way towards the theater in about 10 minutes. Hopefully get in line by then, and then hopefully get into the theater by at least 10:30. Well, it's not looking too bad right now. Let's do it. It's go time. This is it. We're going in. First one in here. Why am I whispering? Here we go, M number 4. Here we go. The quiet before the storm. It's all gonna be on the bed. $10:30 right now.
Augmented reality gaming experience like no other, played right here on the big screen. Download the Newbie Arcade app and get ready because your chance to play is right around the corner. Newbie starts right now.
Want free Chipotle? Join Chipotle Rewards. Whether in the restaurant, ordering ahead, or get...
M&M's asks you to please be quiet and courteous and silence your cell phones now.
See you in 3 hours. You've done good, Avengers. You've done really good. I don't even feel like I need to do a first impressions of this because I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody. So I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to do my first impressions within this Movie Stop episode. And then my review, which I'll post on the site tomorrow, that'll go into more of the spoiler territory stuff here. But first impressions of Avengers Endgame, bottom line, I freaking love this movie. I mean, holy mother of God. This is what everything has been building up for the past 12 years, and they do such a great job of there's a lot about this movie that I really do love. The action in this movie, fantastic. You're gonna love the climax of this movie. The twists and turns that they pull here, and I apologize for the wind. It's very windy out here today, but yeah, the twists and turns that they pull in this movie are fantastic. The surprise is there are some deaths in here. I'm not going to say which ones. One I kind of knew was coming, but then there's some other ones that are really you just have to watch it and see. Because like I said, I'm not spoiling anything here, but they find a good balance of comedic moments and dramatic moments. Like the movie begins on a dramatic note, and then the very next scene, there's a very comedic scene, and then they find a transition back to a more comedic scene before they go back to a more dramatic scene, and so on and so forth. But yeah, man, I really love this movie. I mean, I don't know what else more I can say without going into too much of the spoilers, because there are a lot of moments in here that I would spoil if I went on to a whole long discussion here. But yeah, Russo brothers, you did a fantastic job, man. This movie is the reason why it's still fun to go to the movie theaters to see this type of a film. Because if this was on like Netflix or Disney Plus, or if Disney Plus ever does a film like this, I really don't think it could be on the scope or magnitude that Avengers Endgame was. I saw this in a packed theater at 11 a.m. in the morning. I got there at around 9 a.m. because I didn't want to get my seat taken away from me, and I got there within an hour. I got in my seat within an hour before the film started, and it started packing up. People loved it. There were applauses, there were laughs, people were clapping, standing ovations, and all that. People even waited for the end of the movie, even though I will say this: nothing really happens at the end of the movie, except for one little thing. I won't say what it is, but yeah. But I can see why this movie is gonna last a while. It's already making a lot of money. This is gonna be the first movie to make $300 million domestically at the box office this week in one weekend, which is something that's unthinkable at this point in time. And I really believe this is gonna be the first domestic billion-dollar blockbuster. Like, this is going to be the first movie in America to make $1 billion. It's already going to make $1 billion worldwide just this weekend alone. But when it's all said and done, I think the critical praise that this movie is getting and the hype behind it, it's going to carry it over to $1 billion, something that's unheard of. And you know what? They deserve every penny. Avengers Endgame really does complete the saga of the Avengers. This Avengers storyline that they've been setting up sets up potentially even more movies to come, which bring them on, man. I'd love to see what they do with some of the characters that they are teasing for future stories and all that. But yeah, I really love this movie, and judging by the fact that there was a lot of people in that theater today, they're gonna love it too. And hopefully it's gonna stick around and make it's gonna stick around and last with people. This and Infinity War, to me, I think, is this generation's Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Like, these are those two movies that you have to see in a theater. Like, 10 years ago, we had the Lord of the Rings trilogy, changed everyone's minds. That's the negative. That's the concept being outside. But yeah, last decade we had the Lord of the Rings trilogies, which blew everyone away. The decade before that, we had movies like Jurassic Park, The Lion King, Terminator 2. The decade before that, Back to the Future, the Star Wars movies. The Avengers movies and everything that Marvel Studios has been doing up to this point is this generation's big movie-going experience. This is one that I'm never going to forget. And I know this isn't the end of the Marvel Studios canon. There's going to be more movies coming from here, more with some of these newer characters that have been introduced over the last couple of years, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do here. I cannot wait to see what happens next with this series. Now, with that said, let's head over to Best Buy. By the way, looking a lot more gorgeous than it did last week. No rain in sight. Nothing whatsoever. It is supposed to rain later tonight, though, so... But luckily I won't be outside for that. And Best Buy had nothing, absolutely nothing. It was a complete waste of my time. How dare you! If you ruin everything! I'm not really upset. Yeah, there was nothing in Best Buy today, so Kind of surprised by that, honestly, because usually I find at least something in there, but not today.
Great football player to the roster.
He said that he's a power runner, and the tape shows that. But he also said that he needs to work on his pass catching. Did you work him out in that?
Yes, we did, and you know that was a pleasant surprise. Thanks.
Oh my God, I'm getting old. I see a gray hair.
Everybody's got to come every day and go to work.
Can you see a gray hair?
And Jalen's part of that
There it
group
is.
as well.
I'm 30 years old and I'm already getting gray hairs. Oh my God.